So I know we have a remake on the PS4 coming out, and it looks great and all, but I'm sure some people remember, or choose to forget, that this technically isn't the first time this game has been remade.
There was actually one other time, and it was actually, I want to say it was a launch title for the PSP. This is MediEvil Resurrection.
In a time long ago, there was a kingdom called Gallowmere.
It's the same story.
People were happy. War
Yeah.
was unknown,
I mean,
but children
yeah, it
were
is sort of the
provided
same
for
story, but they did
help
change it up
of all
quite a bit.
kinds, and not just when mooching for chocolate.
Yay,
The
humor.
monarch of the realm, King Peregrine, was wise and just, and all in all, a bit of a decent chap. Fond of philosophy, literature, and pictures of kittens in bonnets.
Aw.
He was an enlightened ruler.
I remember the days
But
when
he had
cat
among
pictures
his
were all the
people an
craze.
official court magician, a brilliant but unscrupulous man by the name of
The stained
Zarok.
glass window transition is
Instead
pretty
of
neat.
confining himself
Yeah,
to
that's pretty neat.
horoscopes and balloon animals for which he was employed, Zarok began to conduct horrific...
Also, I do
He's
kind of
just being
prefer how
a
this game kind of gives Zarok a bit
Of
more
course, people
justification,
often get
aside from,
sensitive
well, just
about
being
their
that evil
deceased
dickblad.
loved ones, so it wasn't long
Yeah.
before
He
the
felt that his
King's
powers were not
and the
appreciated.
sorcerer banished from
I mean,
the land.
granted, it is still kind of
Zarok
questionable as to
skulked
why
away
he's
into the
fiddling with dead
wilderness
bodies to
and
begin
busied
with,
himself
but
perfecting
it's still
his
something.
experiments, seething with rage.
You just say it's a hobby.
Diabolically evil laugh. At last, with an army of demons at his command, he set off to bring Gallowmere under his foul dominion.
Why not just take over another
The
kingdom?
captain of the royal guard, Sir Daniel Fortescue,
He looked really bony.
Yeah, I mean, look at those teeth.
So now I'm just left wondering, is this what he just looked like normally?
I guess so.
Which is weird.
Honestly, I preferred when
How the
I
invaders
prefer when
fell
there was a
before
little
him
more
like
mystery,
wheat
where he
before
actually had the
fire.
helmet over his
And
head.
how at last,
Yeah.
Right.
though mortally wounded,
Oop.
he fell upon
God
the
damn
Look at
Christian.
look at him in the lower left.
utterly.
Yeah.
True, these
got-
songs don't have particularly
Ugh,
catchy
I'm sorry.
choruses,
Just-
but people cared less about charts.
Replaying this game, I actually forgot he fucking did the hand
And
gesture
so it
there.
was that Daniel Fortescue
I'm
went
okay.
down in history, the hero
Clean
of
shot.
Gallowmere. And there came upon the land a time of peace, harmony, and quality wines at affordable prices.
Unlike
But
today.
tranquility
of
was
course.
to last for
Oh,
100
boy.
years. But then the sorcerer returned.
Oh my, that's actually a pretty neat little transition.
You know, I never figured out how he came back from the dead. Like,
Yeah, how did he? No one ever talks about it. Yeah, welcome.
Wait, how Sir Dan came back from the dead?
no, not Sir Dan.
Zarek.
Yeah,
I
Zarok.
thought we destroyed him.
Oh, I was about to say, you know what, that is true. I get the feeling it's kind of one of those things where it's like one of his minions kind of like whisked them away and tried to like nurse him back to health.
By the way, for those that have actually played this remake and are wondering, holy shit, this is way too smooth. You can thank PPSSPP for that.
Oh, did this thing?
It actually can run the game much better natively. It
Yeah.
can run the game much better than it can run on the PSP natively.
Yeah, that's the frame rate used to be a lot more like.
It was around 30 frames, where here it's a full on 60, and all the edges have been smoothed out. But yeah,
I was gonna say apart from the, I
Wow.
was gonna say apart from the text, the models are looking really nice.
Yeah, it's pretty good, all things considered. And so we see Zarok hard at work on his revenge.
Found it.
And he's still as dorky as ever.
Yeah.
Also, that was it, Hyde. That was the spell that he cast upon the entire land. He made it nighttime forever.
Right, which I honestly... It didn't seem quite as obvious in the original, because it already looked like it was nighttime.
That's
And,
right.
But yeah, here we actually see it work the way it was
There you
intended.
go.
So that's something I will definitely give the remaster. They actually do give proper, well, visual clarity on how the hell this all happened.
I kind of hope that the PS4 remake does that as well.
Oh, I'm sure it will. Like, you think they would go to such lengths to properly emulate how his hand was clipping through his skirt?
I wonder how silly they're gonna make him look in the reboot. The reboot.
Probably
We'll
not much
have to
sillier
wait
than
and see.
this. Ooh. So,
Oh,
for a moment after that happened, I was expecting their heads to pop off.
Oh
Kind
jeez,
of.
like blow up
Oh,
out the
can't
door.
quite fit.
even
You know,
in-
she should have just used that opportunity to stay there, not get sucked up by the evil amulet. Or-
She becomes the new hero.
Yeah.
wouldn't that make an interesting spin-off? Now back to the good old necromancy. Not good old, but...
Mm-hmm. I gotta give him kudos for how much more epic it's all sounding here.
Yeah, it definitely makes everything feel a lot more cinematic.
It ups the ante.
So the music is outright all composed and orchestrated?
Oh, hello.
Oop.
Yeah, it pretty much is. And now
Oh,
we
nice
see
spooky
things
time.
from Dan's perspective, and this is easily my least favorite thing about about Resurrection in general.
The best place to go if you're looking for a dead Dan.
Well, not that narration. That's actually pretty good. This is what I hate.
Yep.
You can see
Let's
what's
see.
inside his cranium.
A character made
What's
exclusively
inside?
for the remake.
Fortescue, at last. Come, get up. We got things to do.
Where the hell did you come from?
Oop,
Hey,
oop.
hey, easy, my friend. In my culture, we treat the guests with courtesy, especially if they stop by for 100 years.
What is that thing? Yeah, what is it?
Who am I? My friend, you should feel honored. Usually the corpses, their skulls are filled with just the worms. Instead, you get I, Al-Zalam, glorious genie of the Sultan Prince Razim the Ribald, noble protector of...
Yeah, what is he?
You'll explain it.
doubt me. I see it in your eye. Well, it is true. We genies
Well, here's what I'm gonna
completely
call him,
corrupt
completely
living
out of place.
is bad.
Yeah.
Very
But
oily
just
for the
basically,
skin.
just to abridge it for
Far worse,
Logan's
let
sake,
me tell
this
you,
guy is...
when even
That's cute.
sorcerer
He was basically cursed by Zarek as well to live inside of Dan's skull.
It is mustier than
For whatever
the
reason.
Saracen's jockstrap. You imply that I lie.
But
In my
I
culture,
agree with
would
James
earn
in
you
that I-
50 strokes of the cut.
Not
And
to
we are
say that,
allergic
like,
to
there can't be
cuts,
some gothic
so
stuff,
that
because,
is
like,
a
we're fighting
terrible
zombies, but this just
fine,
looks downright
with
mythological.
the being
This feels
dead,
like something that
we just
belongs
sit
more
back
in,
and
like,
watch
say,
Star Rock
an
destroy
Aladdin
Colombian
spinoff
once
or
more.
whatever. Not so much something as
Oh,
clearly
you
English as
remember Zaros
medieval.
at least.
Yeah.
Yes, that
will-
madman is back from
I do
the
like how
south.
expressive they
He
make
has
Dan in this
mastered the
remake,
dark
though.
magics, has
To
been
that I'll
there
agree. I think
before,
they
turning
pulled off the
good
expressions
men
pretty well.
evil. He turns
Spoilers,
the
I can,
blood
I feel
cheese
this is
next
not
to
immersive at
warm
all.
and
Everyone knows a skull can't bend like that.
I know, I know.
So I will say that I like that they're at least making the muffles, like, fit the dialogue.
Make
Yeah.
amends for your cowardly death, huh? Yes, yes.
Oh,
I
yeah,
was
even
there
he
that
knows.
fateful day.
Yeah.
I saw you hanging back, pretending to tie your bootlaces, and getting hit by first.
Love how pouty he is right here.
Ah, never believe on publicity. You just
Look, I wouldn't have
That
minded this
big
character
hero
so
with
much
old
if,
genie
you
still
know,
trapped
he wasn't
inside
falling
his
on a stereotype that doesn't
Come
belong.
on, I know
It's not like
you
say
are
Apu, who
tough
actually
guy,
fit perfectly
deep
well
down.
in the land
We
of
can work
Simpsons.
with
Don't
them.
listen to
I
any
will
of the
be fine.
social
Maybe
justice
this
warriors
time
that talk,
we
rag on about it.
I do like how
Here, it doesn't work. It's completely out of place.
it should have been. Now, if it was what if it was like a Cockney British accent talking about
That
all
I
this?
would have been a little more. I would have accepted more.
boy.
In fact, well, hey there.
Well, 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 he's back. Old Sir Daniel Fortescue, the hero.
like this.
Halomere,
Yeah, like this.
rendered eyeless and
I think
lifeless
another
by
thing
the
that kind of
cursed
makes
arrow,
it a little
rendered
bit more
heroic by
glaring for the
mist of
genie guy
time.
is that, like,
It's
he
amazing what
literally
good
is like a
PR can
constant
do.
companion for Fortescue, like to a point where you
Now
actually
the
will
fickle
hear him
finger of
commentate
fate
on things
has
throughout the
given him a
game.
second chance.
Uh,
A
even
chance to
when you're
make good
playing?
his ignoble
Yep.
Yes,
past,
even when you're
a
playing.
chance to
It's
defeat
it's
Zarok
the Sonic
and
Heroes
live
problem
up
all
to
over
the
again.
legend.
Which honestly wouldn't be so bad if it was
If I
this
had any
character
breath,
or any other goblin
be
or
holding
you see,
it.
but
Well, at least they call you he, not it.
Many of my stony kind reside in Gallowmere. We may be woken with a gentle nudge, not with a kiss. Please, don't try the kissing thing. We don't have affectionate natures.
Not to mention,
I'll take your word for it.
that lower jaw kind of makes it hard to pucker up.
Seriously. So anyway,
Of lack of
here we are.
Wow.
The game's in action.
This looks pretty nice, actually.
And if there's something I will definitely give this over the original MediEvil, the gameplay mechanics are a little easier to digest.
Huh. Also,
Like, you have full-on analog control, and,
Study. I never had you down as a reader. You use a monocle, right?
well,
okay, now he's
guess
trying
so.
to grade a little bit on me.
A training room, huh? Nice.
Okay, now I'm starting to see where this could get a little bit, like, out of nowhere, and just like, okay, dude, let me play the game. But they have a new, looks like they have a new ragdoll engine, like,
and you have a
honestly,
lock-on feature.
And apart from that text that suddenly just pops up that reminds me of how dated this was, everything looks pretty smooth. Like for it even looks like a PlayStation 2 game.
Like I said, I think this was around the time that the PSP launched, so you can forgive it for any little.
I was about to say, that dashing feature, that's technically a move that you can get in the original game after you beat one of the bosses.
Yeah, but here you have it right from the get-go, which I can appreciate.
Yes. What do you have to say for yourself?
Hey, wake up!
Oop.
So, you're set on finding Zarok. The Master, as he likes us to call him, leaves a sulphurous green ether as he passes through the land. Seek out this Whiffy trail, and you may be sure you're on the right track.
I should also say, real quick, that remember that little bit of dialogue we just heard from the,
This will help us get around the realm.
Okay, just talk over him.
Anyway, remember what the Goblin was talking about, like during the intro cinematic? He kind of more or less repeated what the Hobgoblin was saying, like for the latter half of it. So it's like the fucking Hobgoblin's completely redundant.
Graves in my yard. Spoils the ambience.
I'll say, but
You're
yeah.
right. Yeah, those things don't. Yeah, you're right. They kind of like
This,
cut down a bit.
like, to be fair, this was around the time when games were starting to get really bad about trying to give a helping hand, because you know they thought we were too stupid and too ignorant to read the manual.
And look where that gets us now, to a point where games don't even have a Devil Day manual anymore.
Nope, now they have digital tutorials.
And they have digital manuals, and so combat and everything. How does it all fare compared to the original? Let's compare them, I guess.
It's relatively around the same as the original from what I can remember. Again, you have a lock-on feature now, which is honestly not too bad considering the point of view you're given now. And that's actually the way to the human village, but it's locked off because of a spell by Zarok.
Return to your hovels and await thy doom.
Yeah. I mean, if it's not immediately obvious from what you've seen so far, this game definitely does ramp up the witty commentary. Sometimes for better or for worse.
They're trying to pull off a Terry Pratchett kind of thing, I think, which just
honestly, the writing style of this entire game wouldn't be out of place in, like, say, Monty Python. You know, yeah, Monty Python and the Holy Grail. But of course, well, this isn't Monty Python and the Holy Grail. It's MediEvil and the Chalice to the Hall of Heroes, or you know, MediEvil Resurrection. Also, yeah, you also can. I don't remember if this is a thing in the original game, but you can charge up your sword and do a spin attack, kind of like Zelda.
Yeah, you can do that.
So so something just now came to mind that you guys were mentioning how like, oh, you can wield your own arm, which we saw there at first. You wield your own arm with no weapon. How can you lose weapons?
I want to say. You go ahead, I.
Well, I don't know how different it is in the remake. I know in the original, it's kind of taking a bit of a page from Breath of the Wild. Some of the weapons that you can get kind of have a fertility system, like some clubs and some hammers actually do break out. Yeah, fertility, that's what I meant. Some of them will break after a while, and that's how you're able to lose them.
Okay.
Oh, this wasn't in the original. Great.
How do we get through this?
We're gonna need ourselves a beaten stick.
Or that.
Okay.
But not just any kind of beaten stick. We need something we need to go travel back to the ancient land called Bedrock.
What?
I kid. We just gotta find a club, there's one conveniently placed over there.
Yeah.
Now let's say, for instance, like right here, this club. If we didn't have this, if we accidentally broke this and no longer could go through boulders, how
you're better
would
off
we
just restarting the level. Because I don't think it respawns.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That joke doesn't even make sense to me, but okay.
Well, it doesn't make sense to us because we don't know that kind of culture. But that said, yeah, with the club, you're pretty much going to need that in order to break rocks. And honestly, that's like the most that you can really miles you can get out of it. Because I know that, and also occasionally squish any green hands that come popping out in you now and then. And do so, you get some extra coinage, and that's about
Not a whole lot.
Again,
Only like
much,
one or two.
Yeah, so you're better off just well, getting your mileage, just using the sword for combat.
And then I'm assuming the chalice works the same way as it did in the original.
Yep.
Yes, though I will say to Resurrection's credit, it actually does something rather convenient for the chalice system. If you find a chalice, you can actually pick it up no matter what, but you still need to fill it up in order to gain access to the Hall of Heroes.
Oh, well, that helps. That cuts down on backtracking.
Yeah.
Ah, store.
I mean, I'd appreciate it if they...
Hello, stranger. What can I sell you today?
Oh,
Bit of schmatter?
it was a little bit it was a little bit easier when you guys didn't talk.
Yeah, I guess. But then, anyway, what was I trying to say? I do hope that they keep that system for the PS4 remaster. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they don't, but it would be very convenient just for the sake of pulling back on backtracking.
Yeah.
And there you have it. There's our chalice.
So
By
close.
the way, let's read this pamphlet here. Meet the greatest warriors from history. Congratulations, you may have already won a free trip to the Hall of Heroes. To claim free admittance, simply collect souls from vanquished enemies in this beautiful golden chalice. Once the chalice is full, you can redeem your prize by visiting the Hall of... God damn it, I'm starting to get a bad accent.
That is in the Hall of Heroes. Free gift
Yeah.
with every visit.
There are other chalices to find and collect, so don't delay. Start killing today.
So wait, so does that mean you get a... So, okay, assuming this plot runs on the same logic as the first game, do you really get a brand new weapon every time you go?
Every time. Well, if not, well, actually, no, not every time. Sometimes you just get a big fat bounty of loot.
Or
Okay.
an extension to your health, but most of the times you do get weapons.
So
Yeah.
how many different weapons are there in the game?
There's
Well,
quite a
let me
bit. Like,
Like, I know...
I know we got... There's the crossbow from earlier.
You also get a longbow eventually. You get a hammer, like a more powerful hammer, that you can actually... Oh, no, wait, I'm thinking of the axe. You can get... Yep, and you can get an axe, which you can slice and actually use to boomerang things. You get a magic sword.
And I think late in the game, you can actually get the powers of Thor himself.
Wow.
Yeah, lightning.
Dang.
Can't quite go through the gate.
Assuming that's...
What's it?
Well, wake up.
Beyond these gates lies the exit to this cemetery, but the gates are locked. You didn't think you'd just breeze on through here, did you? You did.
Maybe?
Ha! Oh, my aching sides. Ha!
Shut up.
Guess again, cranium face. The dreaded glass demon, lord of the hilltop mausoleum.
The glass
has the key.
demon.
Go ask him for it, you sap.
So, wait, so does that mean we actually have to come back here later after we defeat the glass demon? Like, there's, like, backtracking to levels?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, there is a small bit of backtracking in the original as well. I don't know which one of them does it worse, though. I'm going to assume Resurrection does.
I think Resurrection does it a little worse, yeah.
You know what this guy reminds me of, and I'm curious if it was a reference to that. I don't know when the... Hi, what year did Corpse Bride come out?
Corpse Bride?
I think it came out roughly around the same time.
It might
Cool,
have.
because-
I'd have to ask Jordan, because I
'cause-
know she's more into that than I am.
Because this freaking genie guy reminds me of the Igor sounding earthworm in the Corpse Bride's head.
Evil alert. Evil
Who
alert.
talks like this and all these other things. I'm like,
Meeting with
did that inspire this a little bit?
hatching evil.
And I thought they could
wouldn't
do
be
it
surprised.
better.
Being naughty.
Kind of think, when did Corpse Bride come out?
They were a failed one-eyed.
I don't know. But, yeah, screw it. I'm gonna look it up because it'll just be easier that way.
16?
Let's see. Corpse Bride movie. Typing on a
Well,
different
not
screen
2050,
here.
I meant 2005 or so.
Oh yeah, remember what I said in the last look at that they pretty much pulled straight from Hercules?
Oh, look at that design. The clouds.
Here we are.
Welcome, O undernourished one, to the Hall of Heroes, where the bravest warriors from history spend eternity feasting, arm wrestling, and singing out of tune. If they think you're worthy, you may be able to persuade them to give you a new.
By the way, I
weapon.
couldn't quite tell if he was giving me the middle finger
You're
there.
lucky to walk away with a spud
Well, he only
gun.
has 3 fingers.
Now moving, Twiggy.
That's fair.
So, okay, giving it credit, not sure how much development was known. Resurrection came out a mere 15 days before Corpse Bride.
Okay, so it was just a sheer coincidence.
Yeah, I guess so. Where's Sam? There he is.
There's Canny Tim, and he looks a little more twitchy than usual.
Yeah.
Captain Fortescue,
What
does
the-
the battle go well?
Oh.
A temporary setback, I'm sure,
What
sir.
Oh my god, just
They
look
were
at this
merry
guy.
times,
Yeah.
slapping our thighs boys downing beakers of bitter shandy, and the battles.
Does make me wonder how they're going to
fun
handle
too.
all of this from in the PS4 remaster. I mean, again, they're still basing it off the original. Just like, is it still going to be as herky-jerk as this, or will they have a little more class in that?
I like the tuniness of it all.
I do too.
Keeps it tongue-in-cheek the whole time. But at least this is a hero that likes us and looks up to us somewhat.
Not that there's anything clever about shooting someone in the eye, sir.
Not even anything. He's just pouty still.
He can't get over it.
So I guess if you had to choose, like, do you think that the genie guy is really like enough to like put you more wanting to play the original than this, James?
Not necessarily. I mean, I do hate the guy, but to his credit, at least he does start to tone it down a bit, like the further on you progress through the game.
Cemetery Hill.
But at the same time,
Excellent
this
day
is
for the blues singer.
again, he's just completely out of place. If it was a Cockney Hobgoblin, it'd be a different story. But they just had to pull from a culture that has nothing to do with this, which is kind of sad considering this was made by the English, wherever Cambridge is at.
No, you're back, looking like something from a butcher's dustbin. Oh, and what's that smell? Oh, decomposition? Well, you're too late anyway. My army has already risen from the grave. Still, never mind, eh? Chalk it up as yet another of your inglorious failures.
Okay. Calm down there, Mr. Zerk.
I really need to work on that mocking laugh.
You really should.
Dude.
Go for it. Well, this makes more sense. Well, I'll admit, this makes a lot more sense physically for them to be able to spit out rocks like that.
Yeah, I mean, they got the golds for it.
So, Hype, how do you feel about this? Like, what do you feel... Like, I guess, looking at this now, how do you feel about this in terms of reviving MediEvil, having seen as you played the original?
I do appreciate some things about it, like, obviously it looks better, and I do appreciate things that they do with, like, the chalice and whatnot. And I want to appreciate some of the humor in it, but like I said, I think they kind of doubled down a little too much on it to a point where it's like, you know, you could take it a little bit more seriously.
Actually, it looks like James isn't even going to beat this level like he did in the original. But I guess
no, because honestly, they really extended the time. The levels themselves are actually a bit longer than what you'd come to expect from the original MediEvil. But that's why I decided to just turn off early. Because I mean, look at the time frame of this video. Yeah. It's roughly around the same.
So before we close off, I have not actually had much exposure with the games at all. James has now played a little bit of both of them. Hype likes and knows the original. What would you like this PS4 reboot to do? Like what things would you like it to do that Resurrection may have done, or what things would you like it to skip out on that Resurrection tried?
I wouldn't mind if. Oh, hang on just a second.
I guess that the first to you, James.
Well, I guess I'll answer for him. Like, I mean, I think if you can take half of the wit from Resurrection while also having a little bit more of the more laid back nature of the original game, then I think you'd definitely have something going for it. I mean, hell, like the remaster itself does at least hint at the possibility that they are gonna keep to a similar level of professionalism that they did with the Resurrection. I mean, considering how witty the animations can be at times. Mm-hmm. But again, just as long as they don't overdo it and maybe fix some of the jank from the original and what they've kind of shown off with the teaser trailer we got recently, I think we're in for a pretty good remaster, all things considered.
Yeah.
So
it looks like they're not going to like completely like rebuild the levels. More so, they're gonna like kind of do the insane trilogy of just like upping the quality of the original designs.
Yeah, and I will say to the remaster's credit, and Hype had to leave, well, appropriately so, but to the remaster's credit, I do appreciate also the fact that it's a little more colorful than Resurrection, because again, this was around the time when games were starting to show, like, this was back when developers were trying so hard to go for more downscale colors, and it definitely showed how it doesn't really work.
Saturation and all that.
Yeah, it hasn't really aged the best, is what I'm trying to say. But
yes.
I'm not going to dwell on this any longer. I hope you all enjoyed our look at on the MediEvil 1 and Resurrection. And, I mean, we'll definitely try to do something for the remaster when that comes out. But it'll all be in due time. So until then,